to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. Kindly subscribe to our channel if you are watching us for the first time. To those who support this channel in one way or the other, I want to say thank you very much. I paid very close attention to the activities and the speeches that were going on in Embu Stadium, where William Ruto was presiding over his maiden Madaraka Day as the President of the Republic of Kenya. The reason why I was very keen to see how things transpired there is because this day took place against a backdrop of very many things. One, there's the high cost of living, and Kenyans are crying foul on Ruto's intention to tax every sector, to impose taxes on fuel products. And of course, there is that talk about deduction of 3% of civil servants to give them affordable housing. And then there was the stalled bipartisan talks between the Kenya Kwanza and the Azimio team. So I wanted to see how William Ruto was going to navigate among all this. And William Ruto did not waste time. And I will submit to you that after the speech of William Ruto in Embu, Azimio has got no business going on with the bipartisan talks. Azimio had stalled and suspended the talks, citing lack of seriousness from the government side. And William Ruto has really corroborated those claims, and he has made it crystal clear that he's not interested in the talks. Even though at some point he was saying that he's ready to work with everyone, including the opposition, I will submit to you and I will prove to you that William Ruto is never ready for any talks. In fact, according to him, he's moving on. It is business as usual. He's in charge of the government. He's in charge of the affairs. And nothing will deter him. Not unless the Azimio is not serious. These talks must be called off completely. William Ruto took that opportunity to explain that in the past, our politics have been engraved on tribal affiliation. And he said that many times leaders took advantage of their tribesmen and hoodwinked them to get into offices. And he also mentioned that such leaders take such moments to get into the negotiating table for self-aggrandizement. I want us to look at one of the speeches and you will prove me right. One of the things that William Ruto said was this, that until recently, our country's politics was about violence by which Kenyans were incited into hatred in the name of political competition. In this dark era, the tribe was the fundamental term of all political engagements. He went on to say that some leaders used political parties as personal vehicles to access the high table where important decisions were made and exploited their ethnic constituencies to negotiate a bigger share of public resources as well as positions of power and privilege in the service of private ends. William Ruto, if you ask me, was referring to Raila Odinga and the Azimio fraternity. And he's saying, if you look at that, he's really referring to the handshake. Because it has been their position that Raila Odinga wants to get to this government through the back door. And they have cited 2007 when there was controversy in the election results. And then Raila Odinga agreed to work with the late President Mwai Kibaki. And then in 2017, there was another controversy, and Raila Odinga agreed to work with Uhuru Kenyatta. So they read another step and they feel that Raila Odinga wants to come through the background. That's why they're saying that Raila wants to get to the high table where important decisions are being made so that they negotiate for a bigger share for their self-aggrandizement. And he went on to say that they changed that narrative in 2022, and he claimed that members of the citizens of Kenya juxtaposed the two candidates, that is Raila Odinga and William Samoei Ruto. And he said that they looked at their policies and they defied the old politics where tribe was the main vehicle, where violence was the main vehicle. And he said that Kenyans voted overwhelmingly for him because he had articulated in his manifesto a way in which he was going to liberate Kenyans. He was going to offer them economic liberation from the chains, because he claimed that Kenyans were in deep economic chain and slavery courtesy of Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. So today he reiterated before the dignitaries, before the guests, before Kenyans, in front of everyone on national TV, that Kenyans overwhelmingly voted for him because he offered a better solution to their problems compared to Raila Odinga. And this is the reason why I'm telling you that after that speech, Kenyans have got no business, especially the Azimio fraternity, to continue the talks. The reason why I'm saying this is because among the agenda that the Azimio is putting forward is that William Samoei Ruto must lower the cost of living before they can move on. And according to William Ruto, he has the audacity to say that the economic liberation is in progress, is on course. In fact, today he launched the second phase of the Hustlers Fund. He's now targeting groups and circles. The first phase was targeting individuals. And according to him, and of course launching it is a good thing, it will help some people, give credit where it's due. And according to him, he made it very categorically that he's in the will and economy is in progress. And I wonder what kind of economic progress he's talking about, because he's already piling taxes. He defended that. He wants to tax every sector and every corner. But according to him, he is in charge of the economy, and in fact, the Azimio are wasting their time calling on the cost of living to come down. The other thing that Azimio put forward was the preservation of the election result in the servers, and then later they will look at it, open and scrutinize it. But according to William Ruto, Kenyans voted for him because he offered an economic liberation, a path for economic liberation. They looked at his manifesto. So in other words, he's telling them that if they feel or if they think that he didn't win the election, that they still want to look at the servers, this is a waste of time. And Azimio had cited that the Kenya Kwanza team is not serious. Yes, they are not serious and they don't care. If they don't know that, let them understand that the Kenya Kwanza team does not care. The other day, Cleopas Malala said that when the Azimio gave an ultimatum up to midnight of, I think it was 2 days ago, that the president ignored the Azimio because he doesn't feel anything. Let me tell you something. Governments cannot listen to people on a negotiating table. A government will only listen to picketing and demonstrations. Going by history everywhere. Even in the first liberation, when we had to kick out the colonial masters, we did kick them out by sitting on a negotiating table. In the second liberation, when we were fighting for multipartism against Nyayo era, it did happen by negotiations on the table. It happened when people went to the streets and aired their voice. And so it has to happen today. It is my conviction and affirmation that Raila Odinga must call off these negotiations indefinitely. It would have been the best thing, if you ask me. Handshake and working together could be the most peaceful way. But it can only happen the way it happened with Uhuru Kenyatta, because the one with Uhuru had was very honest in the negotiations. He did hide some cards under the table. But with this government, it cannot work. They are spewing venom everywhere. And Raila Odinga must call off the negotiations. Why? He has the backing of the people. For the first time more than ever, the people have gone to the streets themselves without asking for any political leader. The other day, the workers' union went to the streets to oppose and lament the proposed 3% deduction on their salaries. They didn't have to look for someone. They just went there to protest. And this is a sign that they're ready to go to the streets. Let Raila take advantage because people are very ready. The cost of living is just too high. And when Kenyans hear that William Ruto wants to impose another VAT, value-added tax on fuel prices, that will impact on the life, on the cost of living, prices of basic commodities will even be higher. Already on the streets and in offices, they are crying for the prices of unga, the prices of sugar, basically the basic commodities. Even in bread, the price of bread has increased. This is the moment because people are very ready. Raila must now talk of two things. They must go to the streets, and if it is possible, secession is the way. And I'm saying this because I know if we continue negotiating on a round table, nothing will come forth. Because according to the Kenya Kwanza team, William Ruto is in charge. He is at the helm. He is in charge of the steering, and they are telling Raila to give them time to fix this economy. I don't know what is wrong with Kenyans. The government promised them heaven during the campaigns, and the government still has the audacity to continue promising, we will do that, we will do that. I think Kenyans are giving this administration the leeway to continue hoodwinking them. For the Azimio, I don't trust the talks. And if you trust the talks, listen to Ruto's speech again. I don't know what to think, but this is my take.